If you've ever wondered why she suddenly pulled away, went quiet, or seemed to change without warning, this video is for you. Because the truth is, women don't just act on impulse. Many of their moves in relationships are guided by powerful, often hidden psychological strategies. Ones they've learned, not just from experience, but from survival. She's not confusing. You just haven't learned her language yet. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the unspoken rules women follow to attract, test, and protect themselves in love. And once you understand them, you'll never see dating the same way again. Part 1. The invisible game behind her smile. In a small cafe tucked between two bookstores in downtown Seattle, Ben stirred his coffee, barely noticing its bitterness. Across from him sat Ava, the kind of woman who made everything feel like it had a hidden meaning. Her smile didn't reach her eyes, yet it wasn't cold. It was composed, curated. And the more Ben talked, the more he felt like he was saying too much and understanding too little. At first he chalked it up to nerves, but as their meetings continued, he noticed a strange pattern. She never directly criticized or praised anything he did. She just listened, smiled, occasionally raised an eyebrow, and then subtly changed the way she responded based on what she'd learned. It wasn't until a friend told him, "She's screening you," that it clicked. Ben wasn't in a romance. He was in a silent interview, and he didn't even know the questions. This is a reality many men overlook. Women, especially those who've been hurt, disappointed, or trained by the emotional politics of modern dating, don't always ask direct questions. They watch, they test, they filter, not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. Every conversation becomes a scan. Does he listen or just wait to talk? Does he need validation? Does he speak of his ex with bitterness or growth? It's not manipulation, it's emotional pattern recognition, shaped by experience, survival, and sometimes exhaustion. So when she's warm one night and distant the next, don't ask what you did wrong. Ask what she learned. Because while you were focused on impressing her, she was silently asking herself, is this someone I can be safe with? Or just another lesson I'll have to recover from? Part 2. The silence that screams. During a heated argument in their apartment in Chicago, Lisa didn't yell, she didn't cry. She simply stopped speaking. David, still fueled by adrenaline, stood there waiting for her to respond. But the silence stretched. It wrapped around the room like fog, thick, still, heavy. And suddenly he felt exposed, uncertain, defensive. That's when panic set in. What David didn't know is what many men never realize. Her silence wasn't a retreat. It was a recalibration, a deliberate withdrawal of emotional energy to disrupt his rhythm, to shift the balance of power. This is what psychologists refer to as strategic silence. A psychological tool women often learn not in therapy, but through observation. From mothers who gave the cold shoulder instead of direct confrontation. From older sisters who whispered, "Don't react, just watch." From life itself, which taught them that words can be twisted. But silence leaves the other person tangled in their own mind. And that's exactly what happened to David. He replayed the argument all night, not because of what Lisa said, but because of what she didn't. In that silence, she took control, not of the facts, but of the emotional tempo. And when you control the tempo, you control the narrative. So if you ever find yourself obsessing over what wasn't said, understand this. She's not ignoring you. She's observing you. And silence, in the hands of someone who knows its weight, is never empty. It's loaded. Part 3. The mirror she holds. It was a warm Friday night in Los Angeles. The rooftop party buzzed with conversation, music, and the clink of cocktail glasses. Mark wasn't expecting much, just another evening of surface-level chats. But then he met Sierra. She wasn't the loudest in the room, nor the most glamorous, but something about her presence pulled him in. She asked about his work, his goals, his childhood, and every time he spoke, she responded like a perfect echo. A subtle nod here, a soft laugh there. When he leaned in, so did she. When he paused, she held space for the silence. She didn't interrupt. She didn't challenge. She mirrored. By the end of the night, Mark felt a strange kind of intimacy, like he had known her for years. But as he walked back to his car, a realization hit. He didn't actually know anything about her. What Sierra used, perhaps subconsciously, was emotional mirroring, a powerful psychological tool. It's not manipulation in a malicious sense, it's connection built through reflection. And women who've honed this skill often use it not to deceive, but to navigate a world where connection is currency. It's easy to fall for someone who seems to get you, but sometimes what you're feeling isn't understanding. It's a reflection of your own emotional patterns. So when you feel that magnetic connection early on, take a moment. Is she opening her soul? Or is she simply holding up a mirror to yours? Part 4. The Unspoken Ranking System. At a cozy backyard party in Austin, Jess stood near the fire pit, sipping a drink and scanning the crowd. She wasn't doing it consciously at first, but as the conversations unfolded, her mind began sorting. There was Ryan, the guy who tried too hard to be funny, charming, but a little desperate, rank 3. Then came Marcus, calm, composed, and intriguingly reserved. He didn't chase attention. Attention drifted to him. Rank 1. And finally, there was Ethan, sweet but nervous. He overshared his past relationship in the first 5 minutes, disqualified. Here's the part most men don't realize. Women filter constantly, not maliciously, instinctively. Because unlike men, who are often taught to pursue, women are taught to discern, to conserve emotional energy, to read between the lines of what a man says, and especially what he doesn't. That message you sent 5 minutes after the date? She noticed. That slight tone of insecurity in your voice? She clocked it. The way you tried to impress her by name-dropping? Noted. To you, it might have been just a casual moment. To her, it was a data point. This unspoken ranking system isn't about judgment, it's about investment strategy. Who's worth her time? Who's safe? Who's interesting enough to open up to? It's not a game to her, it's risk management wrapped in intuition. And the sooner men realize they're being evaluated, not for perfection, but for presence and composure, the sooner they stop trying too hard and start showing up as who they really are. Part 5. The Guarded Gift of Intimacy. In a quiet apartment on the north side of Chicago, Natalie sat on her couch, replaying her last date with Jack in her mind. He was kind, steady, thoughtful, the kind of man she used to think only existed in movies. But still, she didn't text him back. Not because she didn't want to, but because somewhere deep inside, a quiet alarm went off. The one she had learned to listen to after years of getting too close, too soon. From a young age, women like Natalie are handed a silent manual. Sometimes through explicit warnings, don't let him think you're easy. Sometimes through painful memories, the ghosting, the judgment, the betrayal after vulnerability. So when she withholds intimacy, it's not a trick, it's not a test. It's a form of emotional self-defense. Modern dating has turned attraction into strategy. A woman who gives too much too soon is often branded as reckless. A woman who withholds is seen as respectable, even powerful. But that power is heavy because it means she's constantly calculating how much affection is too much. When is it safe to trust? Will he value me if I open up or vanish once he gets what he wants? So if you ever find yourself wondering why she's pulling away, even when there's obvious chemistry, understand this. She's not playing games. She's protecting the most fragile part of herself, not her body, but her belief that someone might truly care beyond the surface. Part 6. When she makes men compete. At a beach bonfire in Miami, Ava arrived late. Hair still wet from the ocean, a quiet confidence in her step. She wasn't loud. She didn't dominate conversations. But within minutes, 2 men had noticed her. She smiled at both, at different times, in different places. One was a personal trainer named Kyle, the other a tech entrepreneur named Josh. They'd never met before, but by midnight they were circling each other like rival lions, offering drinks, flexing stories, laughing louder when Ava was near. The funny thing, Ava didn't flirt excessively. She didn't provoke or seduce. She simply existed in a way that made each man feel like he could win her, if only he proved himself just a little more. This is a dynamic many women learn to master early on, consciously or not. It's not about playing games, it's about understanding the nature of male psychology. Men compete, especially when the prize is validation from a woman who seems scarce, selective, and just out of reach. And Ava, she knew that if she could spark interest in more than one man, her value, in their eyes, would multiply without her saying a word. This doesn't make her manipulative, it makes her aware. And awareness, when coupled with beauty and restraint, is magnetic. The lesson here isn't to become one of the men fighting for her attention. It's to realize when competition is being triggered and decide whether to participate or rise above it. Because sometimes the most attractive man in the room isn't the loudest one chasing. It's the one watching quietly from a place of grounded confidence. Conclusion. Behind every smile, pause, or glance lies a psychology deeper than most men ever realize. Women aren't always playing games. They're surviving, adapting, and navigating a world that often demands both strength and softness. From strategic silence to emotional mirroring, from guarded intimacy to unspoken rankings, their behavior is rarely random. It's responsive. Understanding this doesn't mean becoming cynical. It means becoming wise. It means observing, not overreacting, responding, not chasing, holding your ground while seeing through the fog of emotional noise. Because once you stop being confused by her behavior, you start seeing it clearly. And clarity? That's where your real power begins. Thank you for watching till the end. See you in the next video.